An all-new analog horror series begins here. Galaxy of Film and Mayhem Pictures presents The Artist, 1996. Now available on the Galaxy of Film YouTube channel.
Welcome to Awards Bait, the official Galaxy of Film award show podcast, where we ask ourselves, what's getting nominated this year? Joining me every other Tuesday is a roster of guest stars to help me answer that very question. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Awards Bait. This is the final episode before the award show, before the Oscars. Everything's been leading up to the Oscars, but before that, let's take a look at next year's 2025 Oscar predictions. It is the way too early prediction show, and I am joined with the man of the month, it seems like, William Kish.
Yeah.
He's joined up on Galaxy of Film. He's got his short film dropping today, which is, this will drop on a Tuesday, so it is out there now. So
okay,
talk a little bit about that. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's been good, like being on the podcast, like a lot more now. I've been doing a lot of episodes. Now I'm here doing Awards Bait again. And yeah, like Jake said, I've got a short film out right now. It's called The Artist, 1996. You should check that out on the Galaxy of Film YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to see that. I've been getting a lot of positive reactions to that, to people I've been showing it and sending it to, which really means like the whole world, you know, to be able to like make something and, you know, get like good reactions from people. But yeah, it's a horror, analog horror short. If anybody's familiar with that genre, it's kind of like, you know, the Mandela Catalog or like the Back Rooms, stuff like that, where it's a lot. The way I decided to tell this story is through the eyes of an artist, and the way it goes through is like you just get like text of what the artist is saying, and then it cuts to the art that he has made, and that's how the story is told. So it kind of over time, while he's out in the woods, he's drawing all these landscapes, and then things start to get a little weird, get a little creepy. And it's like turns out maybe he's not alone in the woods, and yeah, kind of spirals out of control from there. So yeah, you should check it out. You know, let me know what you think about it, you know, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be awesome.
Hell yeah. That's the start of a series. Do not watch it at night. It's pretty creepy. I watched it in the morning and like had to lower the volume because I'm just like, she's gonna think I'm watching like live leaks or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
like it
was really fun doing like the audio stuff. I'm not like a big audio guy, but I was like, you know, what's really important about a lot of analog horror and is that, you know, that sound of like the VHS hiss.
Yeah.
You know, and the scan lines and like the glitches and trying to implement that. And then I found some pretty good music that you know, wasn't copywritten stuff. It was like pretty used music that actually really fit like pretty well. Back in the day, I remember when we used to make old movies, we were like, oh, let's try to find some music, and it was like, you know, 2013 or whatever, so it's like all garbage, free music. But now they actually have like pretty decent stuff to use for people who like can't afford a composer. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to make. Yeah, I can't wait to get working on the next one. So yeah.
Hell yeah. And then we've got plenty more where that came from too. We've got a script I finished as well. That'll be hopefully the summer. I don't know if you saw what was going on in Instagram there, but we've got a little chat going right now. And yeah, go check that out. So things are in motion. And that'll happen.
I do. We got a group chat going.
We got something going on there, and we got a sound to shoot those two films, so that's good.
I don't know why Devin's in this group chat, but
me neither. But yeah,
what is he gonna bring to the table?
Here we go. Yeah. Yep, back on the podcast talking shit about Devin. I love it. This is like old times. It's fantastic. But yeah, so we've got it's the start of a hopefully really fantastic year for Mayhem and Galaxy of Film. It's all one now, but it's all chugging along. But without further ado, let's get into the main topic of today's show, which is very early 2025 Oscar predictions. And to start it off here, let's talk about the one that's coming up the quickest, and that is Dune Part 2 from Denis Villeneuve. I made the joke on the teaser for this podcast. Dune Part 2 got delayed. Why am I even doing this show? This is now coming out, and this is why I did the show. Dune Part 2 is looking like it's really good. And like, you know, Part 1 was one technical marvel, and it went on to win a lot of those awards for the Oscars. And it looks like this one just ups the ante even more. So I can't imagine this, you know, losing momentum in the awards race. I mean, the biggest hurdle it has is that it's coming out so early in the year. But that being said, I think this can stick around because this was the one that everybody's like, oh, Oppenheimer might lose out on the technical categories to Dune. And then once Dune got delayed to this year, it was wide open for Oppenheimer. So now that Dune is there all by itself for this coming year, unless there's, I mean, we'll talk about Furiosa here, but that's going to be the technical movie to look out for. So that can sweep all of those. And then it has a chance at a lot of like the Best Picture nominations and director. This will be one to look, I think it'll be one that lasts throughout the year. Will, what do you think about Dune?
I'm kind of glad that it did get pushed just because there's probably a lot less competition for next year.
We'll see.
When it comes to the, I mean, yeah, exactly. We'll see. Very early predictions here, but yeah, like this year is very tight with, you know, you got like for visual effects, you got like Godzilla -1, and you got, you know, Oppenheimer for the other technical categories and stuff. So yeah, like I'm glad this movie's gonna have like its chance to breathe, you know. But yeah, I do think that this movie's gonna look fucking amazing, probably better than the first one. Just the trailers alone have been just completely breathtaking. And I'm so excited to see it. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So yeah, what categories do you think that it'll actually like realistically get you know, chosen for, nominated?
I think like we were talking about here, best sound, sound. I don't know if maybe it's just sound now, but I don't, if sound mixing and editing is still two separate things. I think both of those. But if it's not, I mean, it'll get nominated across the board for all the sound stuff. Probably visual effects. Probably director. I mean, we'll see. Actually, he got snubbed for the first one, so who knows? But I do think that this, just from the early reactions alone, I think it's looking like another big heavy hitter awards contender. And since this is the, you know, culmination more so, I mean, I know he's talking about Dune Messiah, but like, let's pretend like Dune Messiah is not happening. This is the last movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Messiah is more of like an aftermath type film, anyways.
Yeah, and it's like
based on the books, anyways. Yeah, this is the big like epic finale,
right? And I wish you wouldn't talk about Messiah because I feel like Messiah might kill his chances this time because it's like, oh well, he's doing another one, we'll nominate him for that, and it's like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like I think that sometimes happens with this stuff where it's like, what's the one? There's one that just came out. And they're like, Across the Spider-Verse. Like Across the Spider-Verse is losing to The Boy and the Heron right now because they're like, well, we just gave it to the first movie and there's already another one coming. So now it's just kind of like this, like, well, we already awarded it last time and there's another chance to give it the win next time. So it's like kind of this like sandwich thing where it's like, well, next time, you know what I mean? So, and it's like Across the Spider-Verse is probably, I mean, that's a debate right there. If Spider-Verse is better than The Boy and the Heron, I think it is, but you know, it is what it is. Like Boy and the Heron is probably the last Miyazaki movie, which is why that's getting the edge. So sometimes it's like more fair like that, I guess you'd say. But yeah, I think the Best Picture, it can get nominated. I really do think it'll last that long. I think this will be the movie of the year. And it doesn't matter that it's coming out March 1st or whatever, like this early. Like I do think it'll stick around. But we'll see. I mean, the early reactions, we've seen this before where like the early reactions are overwhelmingly positive and then we all get a chance to see it and we're like, yeah, it was fine. I don't think that'll be the case here.
Me neither. I have some pretty strong confidence in this one that it's going to deliver. I mean, Denis Villeneuve does not miss ever.
No.
So this is going to be an amazing film. I can't wait.
Oh, agreed.
For it to come out.
Yeah. Next up, I have Queer from Luca Guadagnino. If this is anything like Call Me by Your Name, it's going to get the gold. Luca Guadagnino has 2 films this year, which is fantastic. Another joke I made in my trailer for this series was, oh, Luca Guadagnino's films got delayed too. His other movie, Challengers, the tennis one with Zendaya,
Oh,
that
right.
that is also coming out in April. So he's got two chances here. I think Challengers, the tennis one, is going to be more of like a crowd pleaser. Like I feel like it'll be really good, but probably is not going to last that long. But I think Queer will probably come out. I know nothing about this movie aside from the title, the director, and it's Daniel Craig pining for a younger man, just like Call Me
Oh,
by Your
okay.
Name was.
Hmm.
So I feel like if it taps into that at all, it'll just be really great. Um, and because Call Me by Your Name was something special, and I think Queer will tap into that because it's like I think it's another one of these like kind of films where it's like Daniel Craig is now an older man reflecting on his past romance. So I think it'll evoke some emotion, and I think it'll probably be one to look out for as far as like acting, directing, picture, and things like that. Did you see Call Me by Your Name? Do you have any?
I have not seen
Really
Call Me
good.
by Your Name, but I've heard, only great things about it. So that's the one with is it Timothy
Yeah,
Chalamet?
Chalamet's in that, and Army Hammer. So
Right. Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll definitely check that out before his next couple films come out.
yeah,
Obviously, Daniel Craig is a great actor, so
yeah.
a great leading role.
Luca
With that.
Guadagnino's got this like he's got this like kind of grimy aesthetic, which I really like. Like
Hmm.
Call Me by Your Name was not very like plot driven necessarily, but it's just like such a vibe. Like you're just hanging out in Italy, these two guys. It's so great. And then like Bones and All is another one from him, and that one I
Oh,
haven't
really?
revisited. Yeah, Bones and All is great.
Okay. I
Um,
also haven't seen that, but I had no idea that was the same
he's
director.
he's
Okay.
he's a very good director, and it seems like Chalamet really likes to work with him. I think Luca Guadagnino is Timothy Chalamet's profile picture on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram and look at Chalamet, unless he changed it now with Dune, but I don't know. But it was like Luca Guadagnino, like a little profile like picture of him, which was really funny. But yeah, he's great. I'm excited for both of his films, even though I don't think Challengers is going to last that long. It could,
Mhm.
but I don't think it will. But both of them look fantastic. I mean, Queer,
I
I
did
don't know
I
anything
did see
about,
the
but
trailer for Challengers, and I remember when that came out, all the memes with like Tom Holland
I
and
know. Yeah,
like I could never be an actor or go out with an actress or whatever. Just like these scenes of like
I know.
Zendaya with like
Two
two
guys.
dudes. Yeah, like
Uh,
yeah, it just for that alone, like I was like, this could be funny to watch. So
yeah,
I think I
yeah,
might
yeah,
see it.
yeah. At the
Um,
very least, it'll be like
mhm,
it'll be very entertaining, which is
mhm,
like just that's all you need sometimes. And Zendaya looks like she's probably going to carry that movie and like be
mhm,
really great in it. And I mean, as long along with Dune as well, like she looks like she's doing a great job there too. Um,
mhm.
but yeah,
Yeah,
Queer
I gotta
Challengers,
catch up on that guy's all his films because I had
he's
no
great.
idea that he did
Yeah.
both of those. And then yeah, all right.
Yeah, both are good. Yeah, put those on the watch list for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Next up, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, directed by George Miller. Obviously, coming close to 10 years after Mad Max Fury Road. That's
Wow.
nuts.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this one looks just as epic. Um, I've I've got to be honest with you though. I think there's a chance this one could miss, but I don't know. We'll see.
I
But
well,
I know there's high hopes.
I could I could see it being kind of ignored, but
I'm
it
worried.
might just because of did the original Fury Road get any Oscar
It did.
nominations? It
A
did.
lot. That's why it's on here. That's why I feel like because Mad Max Fury Road was widely accepted by the Academy. It ended up being this kind of like dark horse contender that just kept
Hmm.
on chugging along. And it was like I think it's because all of us have never seen something like that before, where it's like this is just unbelievable and like technically amazing. And this I think could be a similar thing, but I'm worried Dune could cannibalize that. You know what I mean? But or this could
Hmm.
cannibalize Dune. I hope there's space for a bunch of because I have a lot of like potential blockbusters on this list. So and the Academy usually doesn't like to go for all blockbusters. So we'll
Hmm.
see. But I don't know. I think this one looks as good as the other one. So
It really does. I love Anya Taylor-Joy too. She
mhm.
looks like she's going to be killing it in this role, and yeah, visually it looks just fantastic. Like just like in my mind's eye, like repicturing like shots from the trailer, it's just the colors just pop.
Yeah,
I love that aesthetic so much. Like just like
agreed.
the blue sky and then just like the golden like sand almost like it's and the fire comes out like so like high contrast. I just love the aesthetic. I love the cinematography. The action looks incredible there. And if because it's the same director, right?
Yeah,
it's what's his name? Is it George Miller? Am I
yeah,
getting that wrong? Yeah, okay.
George Miller.
George Miller, yeah, and I'm sure he's going to be attempting to either up his game from the original, from the first one. I'm sure there's going to be some crazy stunts and a lot of practical effects in this too. So I could totally see this one being a big contender for all those categories.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the colors and everything's looking
Hmm.
like it's gonna pop. So a lot of those technical categories,
It,
I think it's a
it is
smart choice.
interesting how like this and Dune is like the desert action films, and they
I
kind of
know.
take two completely different visual directions, which
Interesting.
it's that is it is cool to see like these two completely different like artistic takes on like the same like type of environment.
Yeah.
Because like what's really weird this year, we're gonna have both like Ghostbusters
Mm.
and Godzilla X Kong both are going to end with like an ice age thing happening, and they both look, if you watch both trailers back to back, like they look kind of samey. Yeah, like the visual aesthetic looks kind of samey, and I'm like, we're doing kind of the same type of topic back to back. Like they come out like in the
Couple
same
weeks.
month
Yeah.
or something. It's kind of ridiculous. And it's like there isn't really much of like a visual distinction. Like I'm trying to look at it as like a general audience member, and I'm like, I see the same type of plot in two trailers back to back and the same thing, and they don't really give me something different. That's kind of a
Yeah.
problem. But you get like, this with Dune and Furiosa, and it's just these movies could not look any more different.
It's
Yeah.
true. So yeah, it just goes to show you that they've got artists behind the camera
Mm-hmm.
that really kind of are taking a creative approach to this. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters is directed by a different guy, so that's or a different person. I don't know if it's a guy or a woman, but I thought it
Oh, I
was.
didn't know that.
I
I thought
thought
it was
it
the
was.
same.
Yeah, I thought it was his son
Mhm.
again. The
Mhm.
hell's his name? The you know who I'm talking about. The
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
yeah, I
The
know.
son of the Ghostbuster who died.
Yeah, the Ghost no, the Ghostbusters director. I don't. I think he's still alive though. I don't remember, but the
Hmm.
whoever originally directed the Ghostbusters first movie, his son directed Afterlife, and I thought
Hmm.
his son was back to direct the Frozen Empire,
Empire.
but that's not the case. So now I'm a little bit like, oh, okay, well, let's see then.
Mm.
A little
Yeah.
nervous, but
Hmm.
next up I've got Joker Folie à Deux, and this is the sequel to Joker, which was a box office sensation and an Oscar winner all across the board. Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor. The movie was very much hyped up and nominated across the board for a lot of things. I think it won. Oh, it won Best Score. It won a bunch of things. So it was an awards contender for sure. And I do expect the same thing for this sequel. I think Lady Gaga's probably
Oh yeah, this is probably gonna get like best score. Like it's
again.
literally
Yeah,
it's a musical, and
right.
it's got Lady Gaga. Like this could at least nominated. If it doesn't, that'd be insane.
I'm
Uh,
sure she'll have some sort of ballad which will be nominated for best song and she'll win
mhm.
and it's just going to be incredible and and Todd Phillips again is back at the helm. I think he was nominated for best director. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, this one if it even is like a little bit taps into that energy again, it'll across the board make it again, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially because like this movie is taking such a completely different, unexpected direction.
Yeah.
That tells me that they had like a real creative idea. And I think that's going to be something that's going to play better at the Oscars than like if Joker 2 was just he's free and he's being a gangster, and that's it. Like and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of plays it straight, and doesn't really do anything like too unique with that idea.
Yeah.
Because even if that was like done very well, it'd be like, okay, well, we already gave like the first Joker, which is kind of the same thing. We gave that.
It's
It's
flowers, yeah.
awards. So this I think could easily eat up a lot of like probably for like best makeup and costume. I'm sure it's gonna get like pretty crazy with
Yeah.
that too. Really excited for a first trailer for that. I don't know when that's gonna be
I think he
coming out.
just said April a few weeks ago,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Because I
All
think
right.
everybody was badgering him about like when he dropped those stills for Valentine's Day, they were like, "Where's the
Mm-hmm.
teaser?" And he was like, "Mid-April." I was like, "Oh shit, okay." He gave us an answer. Wow. So April, I believe, is when.
When does it come out? The movie
I think October, like same release
is the
window
same.
as the
Okay.
first one. Yeah. So same vibe. I'm sure they'll. I'm sure it's gonna just repeat
Hmm.
that success. Maybe not another billion, but we'll see. I
Hmm.
can't believe that movie made $1 billion. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of wild. But the landscape has changed a lot.
Certainly.
Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that even if that same movie came out today, if it would make that much.
Yeah.
But,
Uh, So next up, I have Megalopolis, which is Francis Ford Coppola's new film.
Hmm.
That is exciting. I've been seeing like a lot. There's a lot of like artists that come back, and they kind of are like they don't quite reach those levels of success that they once did. I hope he doesn't fall into this. I really hope. I mean, the plot is an architect wants to rebuild New York City as a utopia following a devastating disaster. Everything I've heard about like the production of this movie is it's similar to like Apocalypse Now as far
Hmm.
as like issues and like just insanity. And I think it's like one of the longest shoots. So I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah,
That
I've
alone.
been hearing about this movie. What feels like 10 years.
I
I've
know.
heard of like like long before I was like into film. Like I had heard about like Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis is like a thing he's trying to like. Didn't he like self finance this movie too?
Something at least
Something like
partially.
that.
Yeah.
Like yeah, he's been working on this forever, and
Yeah.
just from that alone, I'm like I want to see what he's been cooking.
I
You
know.
know, like if he cared enough to not just drop this project, years ago from the development hell, that means that he's got an idea that he needs to get out there.
Yeah.
And that's something I can really respect. And I really want to see, uh, what happens with this. And this is, yeah, what I think it's like, so remember I looked this up not that long ago, like a couple weeks ago, it came up in the news. I think they came out with that teaser image,
Something.
right? Or
Yeah.
something. It was like a title card or something.
Yes.
Um, and I was like, wait a minute, this is actually coming out finally. And that's what, yeah, I read that synopsis. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely I'll be there for it. I
Absolutely.
again we don't know anything about it besides just that brief little synopsis. It does have I think I remember it having a pretty good cast too.
It has a fantastic cast. You've got
Yeah.
Adam Driver, Shia LaBeouf, Natalie Emanuel from like Game of Thrones and stuff, Aubrey Plaza, Giancarlo Esposito, Jason Schwartzman, Lawrence Fishburne, Dustin Hoffman,
Jesus
John Voight.
Christ.
It's a good cast. Captain
That
Hunter.
that's like at the like next year's yeah, this year's Oppenheimer right there, just from the cast.
I know. Yeah, just
Like
like
in
so good.
terms of just heavy hitter after heavy hitter,
Forrest Whitaker.
that
Yeah,
that could totally steal like, best actor, best actress or
something.
whatever.
Yeah, if it, we'll see, but
Mhm.
it's going to at the very least be a big swing. So gotta respect it for that. Even if it totally misses the award ceremony, I think we
Mhm.
gotta respect it and just like be like, holy shit, like it's finally here.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be. I can't wait for that. There's another movie which I kind of stumbled across as I was researching, which I think you might be really into. It's called Here, and it's directed by Robert Zemeckis. And Robert Zemeckis, was once a really fantastic director. I mean, he's kind of stumbled lately, but Forrest Gump, Back to the Future. The plot on this one is set in one single room, follows the many people who inhabit it over years and years from the past to the
Mm.
future. So it sounds interesting. It's in production now. You got Tom Hanks back with Robert Zemeckis, Robin Wright, also back with Zemeckis. They were both in Forrest Gump. Paul Bettany, a bunch of people in this one too. It's based on a book, and this could be Welcome to Marwen, which was garbage, or it could be another really fantastic classic from Zemeckis. I'm worried it might be the former and not the latter, but we'll see. There's nothing else on that movie, but it could miss the release date as well. It could not come out this year,
Mm.
but since I think it's still in production. But if they get it ready for the fall, it'll. I think it has the potential on paper to be a big awards contender. We'll see if it sticks to landing. Sometimes he doesn't, but we'll see.
So this is a live action film, right? Because he's been focusing a lot on like animated
Yeah,
things
that
later
was
in his
that
career.
was kind of my fear, where it's like it
Yeah.
might be. I don't know. I don't think it's animated, but it could be.
Because,
But even if it's animated, it could be great. But I don't know. But I think it'll be from that plot description. It sounds interesting, and it
oh,
sounds
he
like
did the new
something.
Pinocchio.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that
Yeah, he
too.
did he did do the new Pinocchio. Yeah, I watched
Oh
a video
God,
about that.
no, I forgot about that. That makes me nervous now.
Well, I mean, outside of like the stranglehold of like corporate
Disney, yeah,
Disney executives, I'm sure it'll be. I mean, that pitch right there, just that one little premise is great. I
I love
love that.
that. Hmm.
It sounds A24 esque.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
sounds. It reminds me of the whole like bit in Ghost Story, of like I don't know
Mhm.
if you saw that, but like that, there's like a whole sequence in Ghost Story that sounds like this plot. So if it's like that
Mhm.
for 90 minutes, it'll be great. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, you could totally get like a really interesting story out of that. So I'm
Absolutely.
interested.
Yeah. Next up, Mickey 17. We have a teaser. It is I read the book. The book is Mickey 7. It is a cloning thing, and I think with Bong Joon-ho, director of Parasite, this is going to be a big winner. You got Robert Pattinson in this. I believe Mark Ruffalo is also in this, who just is coming off of Poor Things, which was, great for him. So this one I can't really see being a miss at all. I think it was just pulled. It was supposed to come out March 29th, I believe, but they pulled it, and I think they pulled it because they're really confident and they want it to be in the fall and just be a lock for awards contention. So I think for sure this is one to look out for. I would expect a new release date any week now. Like they gotta announce the release date for this, because otherwise I don't know what happened to the movie. But I mean, Zaslav, I know he's cutting everything. So this is a Warner Brothers film, so that makes me nervous. But I think this is, you don't do that to best director winner, best picture winner, Bong Joon-ho, and Robert Pattinson, who is your Batman currently. Don't do that. Don't cut this movie. Release it.
Hey man, David Zaslav is
Crazy.
He's the devil. So I don't know. He might just do it for fun, just as a power move.
He's like, oh,
yeah, I'll make an extra couple $1 million this year, just to axe this film that I probably would have made more money off of if I released it.
I'm scared.
That's a whole topic in and of itself, how evil that
dude.
man is. Obviously Bong Joon-ho, he's incredible. Parasite, Snowpiercer, another film that I watched a couple years ago called The Host. Amazing monster film. Each one that I've seen, I haven't seen any other films besides that, but they always have just such an incredible message, and the way that he will tackle like issues of like wealth inequality and politics, and like how the government handles certain things, and capitalism, all that. He just has such unique ideas for how to like really tackle these complex issues in his films, and they always have like a weird, like kind of surrealistic quality to them. Like even though Parasite doesn't have like a monster in it like The Host does, or like how Snowpiercer, it's the one train that everybody lives on, and it's all sci-fi, whatever. Even Parasite kind of has that heightened reality a little bit of like, it feels real, and then all of a sudden there's people living in the basement, and it kind of takes a whole turn, and it feels like a nightmare, even though it's still within the bounds of our reality. So Mickey 17, of course, that's like a sci-fi that's based on the book, like you mentioned. I'm going into that completely blind. I don't know anything about it. So I'm very interested to see why he chose this book to adapt. I'm sure there's something in there that spoke to him, that he felt the need to make this film. So between his directing and Robert Pattinson as the lead, we could see this going places. And the fact, like what you just said, they might be confident, the fact that they might be pushing it to closer to the award season. So I'm curious to see what they got going for him.
I agree. I think he's going to take an artsier approach than the book does, because the book is more of like a fun adventure, and I think the movie will probably tap into something a little deeper. Especially with Robert Pattinson, like you said, he's going to be playing multiple roles, so it's going to be really fun to see him kind of do that too. And I think he can really shine in this and be tremendous. Next up, I have Conclave, which I don't know much about, but it's directed by the guy who did All Quiet on the Western Front, and that movie's awesome. So I expect a banger from Edward Berger. This one, I believe it's about a group of cardinals as they try to uncover a secret within the church. So that sounds interesting. It could be more of like a, I guess more of like, it doesn't really tap into those Oscar things that they're looking for. So I suppose it could miss in that regard. But I think ultimately, All Quiet on the Western Front came out of nowhere last year and just was like this big heavy hitter awards contender. And it was really good. And I would imagine he would just keep that momentum and deliver another really solid film. So
it could be like another Spotlight-esque thing, depending on what it is that they're uncovering. And
that's what I was thinking.
So
you never know. We'll see. But next up, one that I find very interesting: The Apprentice. This is about a young Donald Trump played by Sebastian Stan, and it follows like
That's right. Yeah, I saw a picture of that recently. I
I
was like, oh shit.
this is probably going to be like panned and just hated, or it's going to be like the film She Said, where it just comes out at the right time, right when the election's going on. I'm sure they're going to plan it for that, and this can really strike a chord and wind up being pretty. It's not, it's going to be one of these movies that we don't really like, but it's like well done, and you really are like, fuck, like I gotta give it to them. Like they really kind of uncovered, like they did a great job with it or whatever. It could be one of those where it's like, I don't think it's gonna be in support. I'm sure. Like, why would you make a movie and
It's
just
probably
love 'em?
it's probably going to be a very like critical I mean, because even if it just representing him
Yeah,
just for more than 5 minutes at a time, eventually it's going to seem like you're critiquing him, just
exactly.
because that's like you just let the camera roll and it already he
You're
hangs
like,
himself.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Like, so I could imagine, and obviously The Apprentice isn't it
Yeah.
didn't he write a book or whatever?
No, it was like
Or was
a
it,
well, maybe
or was that the
he did,
TV
that
show?
was like the
Or was that the
show or
TV show?
something.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
No, the Art of Deal. I think was the book that he wrote. I think.
Oh, he wrote a book? I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, not him. Like he had somebody write it for him, and
Of
you know
course,
what I
yeah.
mean.
Of course,
he's not-
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun at least. Just because I just saw the image of Sebastian Stan as Trump, and I just thought it was funny. So
I need to find that. I didn't see the image.
I could have sworn I did. Maybe it was like a Photoshop or something. I don't know, but
No, I mean-
I could have sworn I saw that.
It's happening, so it's
Yeah.
probably real. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. But that's one to look out for, I'm sure. That's going to probably be one to talk about. That's for sure. Next up, I have The Piano Lesson, which is directed by one of Denzel's sons, Malcolm Washington, and John David Washington is in it. So I
good.
put it on the list. I think it's probably going to be really good. And you also have Samuel Jackson in here, Corey Hawkins, who I'm a fan of, Danielle Deadwyler, who was in Till and just blew me away. Anything she's in, I'm going to put on this list because she got snubbed for that movie for Till, and she's incredible in Till. And that movie, I don't think I'm ever going to watch that again because it really it fucked me up, and it was just tragic. But this one's about, it says it follows the lives of the Charles family as they deal with themes of family legacy and more in deciding what to do with an heirloom, the family piano. So I'm sure this will be kind of a feel-good drama by the end of it. I'm sure Denzel is producing, right? He's got to be in here.
Probably. I mean, it's his two sons are like the leading.
Yeah, there he is.
Things.
Denzel Washington producing. Yeah. This will be great, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I have no expectation other than that. But next up, I have Pablo Larraín, who is a pretty good director a lot of the time. I appreciate his films. He did Spencer and Jackie, so very good kind of biopics there. And this one, another female-centric biopic, Maria, follows the life of the world's greatest opera singer, Maria Callas, during her final days in 1970s Paris. Angelina Jolie stars, and it is written by Stephen Knight, who I believe also wrote Spencer. And yeah, I this is a reteaming of that teaming group there, and I really liked Spencer. I was upset that was not really celebrated and kind of respected more. I thought Kristen Stewart was incredible in that movie, and I think if Angelina Jolie taps into something similar, she has a shot. I like Pablo Larraín, and I think whenever he makes something, you got to watch out for it. I didn't see his last film that came out this year, but it's largely gone unnoticed again. So this might be another one that's really good, but doesn't make the cut. But we'll see. But I'm interested in learning a little bit about this. I've never even heard of this opera singer, but I'm very curious to learn a bit more through this biopic. Yeah. I don't know about you. You got anything? Angelina Jolie. I'm curious to see her come back from she hasn't really been in films aside from Eternals. That was like the last one.
The last two things I remember seeing her in was Eternals and that movie where she's like. Remember we covered it on our old podcast. It was the one where
Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Yes, yeah. I think those are the only two movies that I've seen her in the last few years.
Forest Fire.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, she was like a forest ranger, specifically for when there's forest fires or something. And, yeah, it was like a weird became about like a hitman action thing.
Yeah, it's something bit odd, but it was she's good. She's always good. I always look out for her, but that one seems like it could be good. But again, we'll see.
Yeah, this will probably be something like more of like, using your actual acting chops,
Oh yeah, for
instead
sure.
of being like a superhero or
Yeah,
whatever was
no,
in
exactly.
Eternals. Yeah.
Next up, I think probably next to Dune 2, probably the most likely slam dunk, Gladiator 2.
Yep.
Ridley
Hmm.
Scott is back. I know I saw you just recently watched
Yep.
Gladiator, so you got a
Yep.
fresh take on this.
Yeah, so this is another one that I've been hearing for years, like, oh, Gladiator 2, we're gonna do Gladiator 2, and I'm like, what how? Like, like Russell Crowe's dead, like who's gonna be, like, you're really just gonna pick up with like another Gladiator?
Yeah.
And I had assumed at the time like Ridley Scott's probably not gonna have anything to do with it either. Turns out no, they got Ridley Scott back to do this, which tells me that, it's a story that he approves of, obviously, because he's the one doing it. And I heard a rumor, and this has been substantiated. I've heard this a couple times, that like the original idea that the studio wanted for Gladiator 2 was that the gods were going to bring back Russell Crowe, and it was just going to be so stupid.
No.
Like it's like that whole first film is not like, there's no supernatural like elements beyond. It's kind of like how the Northman handles like, the
Right.
supernatural side, where it's like he believes that it's real, that he's going to the afterlife, so he keeps visualizing it. It's not that it is necessarily real,
Yeah.
but they wanted to go in some stupid direction just so they could get Russell Crowe back and, put butts in seats. But the actual film that's coming out, which is apparently being tested very well with the
Yeah.
studios, they're really, apparently they recently decided they're going to put like a lot more of a marketing push into it because of what they've seen, from the footage that's been done. I don't know if it's finished filming yet,
I don't think so.
um, but yeah, and the idea is that it picks up with the son of, uh,
Russell Crowe?
no, not Russell Crowe's son, because he got murdered. It's like the daughter of the old guy Caesar. What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix's sister
Okay.
in the original. She had a son, and it's gonna in the original, and it's the kid from, I think it's the kid from, what is it? Oh man, I just looked it up. Whatever. But anyways, he's gonna be grown up now and having been like inspired by Russell Crowe's, Gladiator character.
It's Paul Mescal, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the same kid actor grown up,
No, no.
because he's been in some stuff. It's the kid from Unbreakable, if you remember,
Oh,
because that came out like the same year. Yeah.
okay.
But anyways, and then the other guy, our new Joker from the Batman, he's playing the
Y-
new corrupt Caesar.
Oh, Barry Keoghan?
Yeah, Barry
Oh,
Keoghan
yeah.
is playing like the next like Caesar, and then
Denzel's
also
in this one
Denzel, yeah,
too.
and Denzel Washington is also in it as like,
And
I believe, as
Pedro
another.
Pascal as well.
Yep. So
Good
great
cast.
cast already. You got. I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of have been down on Ridley Scott
Yeah.
lately. I haven't been able to check out Napoleon. I know they're coming out with it on Apple TV very soon,
I'm
beginning of
nervous.
March.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
he's a good director. Like you can never discredit him, but at the
mhm.
same time, like, dude, you've been making like I really like The Last Duel. I thought that was great.
Yeah, me too. I love The Last Duel.
That was great. That was like his last really good one, and that one also kind of went under the radar. But I mean, Gladiator 2 is going to be a bigger film than Last
Yeah,
Duel was,
that
you know?
has the name IP,
Yeah, and
obviously.
it's like I mean, if this is testing well, I have no reason. And like The Martian, that was like another really great one that he did,
Hmm.
recent, relatively recently. And like but I didn't. The House of Gucci was kind of ridiculous.
Hmm.
Napoleon was fine. And then now I hope he's able to kind of really make a great film with Gladiator 2. I have
Hmm.
no reason to think he won't. I mean, I never doubt him, but sometimes I'm let down. Other times I'm like, that was good, but you know, you didn't go there all the way.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
because the other things, like his other big IP that he returned to, Alien,
Yeah,
those are hit or miss as well. With like,
right.
there are some good things about those movies. Some people really like them. A lot of people really don't like them.
Hmm.
So we'll see how, he handles that with this. But I'm interested,
Yeah,
because yeah, having just rewatched the original, the first film, it's fantastic. So if he like brings that type of energy to it again, um, I'm then yeah, hopefully it'll give us something. Definitely, probably like, best like costume at least. you
yeah.
know,
I hope so. I mean,
best costuming. Hopefully we get something else like,
probably sound and stuff too. A
yeah.
lot of the
Hmm.
gladiator battles and stuff like that. I'm sure. I mean, I think this could go all the way if it's as good as everybody's saying. Next up, I have this film called Blitz, which follows the stories of a group of Londoners during the events of the British Capitol bombing in World War II. It's a World War II film. It stars Harris Dickinson, Saoirse Ronan. It looks like the woman from Solo. She's in this. The one from Solo, and also The Green Knight, and also The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That one. I don't know her name. Erin Kellyman.
Why am I not putting
the one from Falcon and Winter Soldier? She's got like all the freckles on her face, and she's like the villain in Falcon and Winter Soldier with the mask.
Oh, yeah.
And Solo, yes. She was the one that also had the mask.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of masks for this one.
Yeah.
But this is directed by Steve McQueen, who did 12 Years a Slave. I'm sure everything he does, I look out for. I'm sure this will be another great film from this team. Although Saoirse Ronan, she did that movie Foe last year, which came and went. And that I only heard bad things about. That was one of those movies. I talked about this with Naima on this show. Foe is a film that came out last year. It's directed by the guy who did Lion, which is a really great movie. And it stars Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal, who we just talked about. It came out in limited. It came out at the New York Film Festival. And then it went limited release that same weekend. And then I never heard about it again.
Oh.
Because it had like a 9% or something. And I'm like, wow. God. I was like, I really want to see this. When is this coming near me? It never did. And then it just recently came out in Prime. And I still haven't watched it. But that's one where I'm like, I need to see what happened. Because I was like, I was talking about that on this show. In the beginning of the show, I was like, let's look out for Foe, man. Like this is, and then it came out and just nothing. And I'm like, whoa, What happened? What happened to that movie? So, I know that's not her fault, but we'll see. I mean, she's a great actress. I'm sure.
I love her since Lady Bird. So
she's so good. So this is one to look out for. World War II.
Yeah, I mean that time period is very interesting. Obviously, Blitz, I assume, is a reference to Blitzkrieg. The German. When they were just attacking like everything as hard as they could. So that's a very intense time period to put a perspective to. So that right there sounds pretty fascinating to me.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, it sounds maybe it'll be like 1917 or something.
Yeah,
that kind of energy. That would be awesome.
So you said it from the description of the plot. Is that you said it was from like more of like a civilian perspective?
It's a group of Londoners. Yeah.
So that'll be interesting because usually these war films they're always from like the perspective of like soldiers like going on the front lines like putting themselves out there. You usually don't see the civilian perspective that much, and that's going to be a lot more like helpless and terrifying.
Yeah,
having German soldiers come in and who are literally the most evil people on the planet at that point in time, and you're having to run away from them as they're decimating your city. That's going to be really terrifying.
That'll be intense. That'll be an intense film for sure. And to have Steve McQueen at the helm, I'm sure he'll handle that really well. Next up, I have Kinds of Kindness from Yorgos Lanthimos. I believe I heard this is like an anthology film where it's like it's a bunch of different stories. So maybe like Wes Anderson, kind of like French Dispatch or something. But you've got Willem Dafoe back. You've got Emma Stone back. You've got I think there's even more people. Let me look that up. But this is Margaret Qualley, who was also in Poor Things actually. Yeah. Hunter Schafer, Jesse Plemons, Hong Chow. This is a good cast. So this is one to look out for. Also, I mean, Poor Things is such a huge contender that I'm sure this will tap into something. Even at the very least, it'll have eyeballs on it. I mean, maybe this will go more of the back to the weird route. I mean, Poor Things is weird as hell, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but like maybe it'll go back to that kind of like more niche thing where it's like, all right, there's a select few people that like this and that's it. Or it'll blow up. I'm sure it'll blow up similar to how Poor Things and The Favorite did. So this is, I mean, Yorgos is one that we need to look out for every time now. So.
Oh yeah, after watching Poor Things, I'm definitely going to try to see every movie he comes out with in theaters. That was just such a strange experience, but I really loved it. I love that he just did not give a fuck and was I'm going to make what I want to make, and this is you're here watching what I made and deal with it. And I
Yeah.
really love movies that, make me feel like that, like Beau is Afraid and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously, with that cast returning, I love that. That means that there's so much chemistry and respect between all of these people that they want to work for him,
Yeah.
which tells me that it's probably, great working conditions there. Uh, and yeah, so yeah, I'm excited for that one as well.
Yeah.
And I like having the idea of like little vignettes, stuff like that. It's not really done terribly often. So
Yeah.
and so yeah, this could be a cool way to get a bunch of different like weird little surreal stories.
Yeah, I love it. I think they're all
Yeah.
playing like different characters in each one. So they're all in the
Oh,
full
okay.
film, but they're all like different characters.
I
So that'll be
love that.
fun. So
Yeah.
which performance are you nominating Emma Stone for?
That's actually
That'll be
interesting.
fun,
What would I think they would just say like Emma Stone
for the
in
movie.
in the movie as opposed to
Yeah.
like giving like the name for the
Yeah.
character.
'Cause
That's actually an interesting question.
that would be fun. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
which one are you? So that's. What if she's better in certain parts?
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I guess they just show that clip then.
Mhm.
Next up, I have Wicked from John M. Chu. This I don't. I mean, we'll see. I think it's largely just going to be a fun blockbuster. This is the Wizard of Oz thing.
So, did they come out with the trailer during
They
the Super
did.
Bowl?
They did.
Because I literally thought it was like an AI generated. There was already AI generated things
They
that
had
day.
asked
I thought it was an advertisement that it was like, oh yeah, like, and then the witch pulls out like whatever product that they're selling today.
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got from that. I didn't think it was a real movie. I thought it was either AI or an advertisement or an AI advertisement. Like it was just. So I don't know that I
know.
was kind of half paying attention to it. Maybe it's better than that. You got to chop up whatever movie for your 15-second, $7 million that you're throwing on there. So from that first impression, not looking great to me.
No, fair enough. And I only put it on
Yeah.
here because I liked the play, because I went to see the play on
right.
Broadway.
That's
but
right.
at the same time, you're not wrong. Like it does look a little crazy, and it looks like that Oz movie from Disney that came out
Right.
like 10 years ago, and that was terrible. So if it's like that, I agree with you. But if it transcends that and it's more of like a West Side Story, we'll see. But at the same time, this is the one that the next one I'm also very on the fence about. These next two, I'm like, I don't know. But the directors on both of them are pretty strong. John M. Chu did In the Heights as well, which got overlooked because it was such a colossal miss overall. Like it really kind of came out during the pandemic. Was an absolute failure because of the HBO Max day and date thing that they were doing. Although some movies did shine with that, like Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong, those both did quite well, but In the Heights did not. So maybe he can rebound with this one. We'll see, but I don't disagree with you. It does look like it could be shit, but I don't know. I hesitate, but we'll see. I do like the play a lot, and I think if it has even a little bit of that magic, I think it could be good. But again, probably not an Oscar contender, but definitely like a popcorn movie that comes out during the holidays that everybody loves. Next up, I have Mufasa, the Lion King. This is a sequel to the 2019 Lion King from Disney.
Or a prequel, right?
Prequel. I think it's like Godfather 2, where it's like,
okay.
It like shows the upbringing of what's the king's name?
Mufasa.
Mufasa, it's in the fucking title. It shows like the modern day stuff with Simba being the king, and then cuts back and forth to Mufasa. So the only reason this is on this list is because it's directed by Barry Jenkins, who is an incredible director, and I don't know what he's doing directing this movie, but he directed Moonlight. He directed If Beale Street Can Talk. So that's the only reason I am at all interested in this. It could be shit. Again, it could be like the 2019 one, which was awful. And it was only awful because it was the exact same fucking thing. But it was also just weird CGI wise. But
the director choice, and then also the fact that the story seems to be more of an original story rather than just let's just adapt Lion King 2. Like if they're gonna do something new, then that means that he might have the creative freedom to actually create an interesting story. And I kind of like the idea of it being like a Godfather 2-esque thing, where maybe they're even kind of referencing that movie as the structure of it. Like, oh yeah, the head of the house of the family, like that's a good place to draw inspiration from.
For sure. We'll
And
see.
yeah, that has potential to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's but I don't really trust Disney with their live action adaptations.
Me
So
neither. Yeah.
we'll see.
So these last two,
Mhm.
those the two there are just like very little going off of, but I mean, the director choice there is just is astonishing to me. I'm like, I can't believe you
But
got him to do this.
even if the effects are terrible, it's gonna get that
Oh,
best visual effects nomination, even if it looks like shit, like when like
yep.
Black Widow gets nominated over the Batman or something, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Did that happen?
come on. It wasn't. Those are two different years, but like
Oh, I
like
see.
Batman like wasn't nominated for something, and then like Black Widow got like a couple years earlier or whatever. And I'm like, what the
Batman
hell are we
didn't
doing?
Batman
No,
gets
Batman got
cinematography.
Batman didn't get cinematography, but like
That's
Black
disgusting.
Widow gets best visual effects
I
when
know,
that
it's
came out that year, and
ridiculous.
it's like this is just a joke. So we'll see.
We'll see. But next up, Nosferatu, Robert Eggers.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, his movies largely are not for the Academy. So I expect the same thing here, but I still want to talk about it because I'm very
This
excited.
maybe this could be it,
It
because
could.
Poor Things is not a movie that you would expect to get Academy
It's a good point.
accolades. Obviously, I think that Guillermo del Toro kind of broke the seal a little bit by
Yeah.
having Shape of Water win Best Picture. Like that kind of you're starting to get them to lighten up and loosen towards like these more genre focused things,
Yeah.
stuff that's more macabre, more horror esque. Even though like Shape of Water isn't totally horror, neither is Poor Things, but they're both grounded in horror. And Nosferatu is doing something similar to Poor Things, where Nosferatu is a remake of one of the oldest like horror films ever made, and Poor Things was very much heavily inspired by other films from the silent era, like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which
Yeah. Yeah.
Nosferatu is from that same time period. So it has that like cinematic cultural significance that this film is being remade, because of what it represents for cinema history. Like this was like one of the first times like the story of Dracula was ever adapted, was for that old film. So
Yeah, dude.
for
No,
Robert Eggers to pick that as, okay, this is what I want to do next, it was a very interesting choice to me.
it's a good call. I didn't
Mhm.
think of that, and you're right because it's like the cinematic significance, like you were saying, and that all that stuff. I think it has a better than a lot of his other films, and also like I think if The Northman had come out later, that would have been an Oscar contender potentially.
Mhm.
Because like that, I mean, it came out like April or something, and it largely didn't do well. But we love it. But like it didn't stick around. So the fact that this is
Mhm.
coming out on Christmas Day, so this is like a prime time Academy voter slot. So if they're able to get those screeners out a little earlier, because Iron Claw they shit the bed on that because it's like
Mhm.
that movie came out like December 22nd, and then it was like that day the awards voting closed. And it's like, why
Mhm.
didn't you screen this earlier for them so this could have been a contender? Because now you watch Iron Claw and you're like, this movie was shut out of everything just because they got their homework in late. Like that's the only
Mhm.
reason. Like otherwise, this would have been up there with everything else. So that sucks. But hopefully, Nosferatu was able to kind of mount a better campaign prior. I don't think this is A24. It might be. I'm
That's
not
a
sure.
good question. I
It
don't
might
know.
be, but it's whatever it is. I'm glad that they let him make another movie, whoever it is, because The Northman. That's one of those movies where you can be like, we gave you 90 million and you absolutely flushed it all down the toilet. I'm glad they didn't take that away from him because it's like that. The Northman could have been like a career killer kind of thing because it's like he
Mhm.
took a big
Yeah.
swing, he took a big budget, and it flopped. And it's like I'm glad that they saw that. Like, well, no, this is actually a really absolutely fantastic movie. We're just going to maybe rein it in a little bit next time, give you a smaller budget, but we're still going to let you go all out and do whatever you want.
And they're
Um,
having him do horror again, as
yes,
opposed to doing an action type film.
right.
So
Like
they're
that
like, all right,
appeals to a mainstream.
we're gonna have you stick to what like you're kind of known for.
Right.
And
That's fun.
obviously, horror tends to have smaller budgets anyway.
Yeah,
So
we'll see
I'm sure those definitely had like a part to play.
for sure. Next up, I have Wolves, not Wolves, but Wolves. Don't know why it's called that, and it makes me feel like I'm reading it wrong. But this one is it's directed by John Watts, coming off of the Spider-Man trilogy. And this one it stars George Clooney and Brad Pitt, so it's probably going to be pretty good. It follows two lone wolf fixers who are assigned to the same job. I think tone is kind of a thing here, where it's like if this is more comedic, this could miss. But at the very least, it'll be like a fun kind of Ocean's 11 style, like crime comedy thriller, whatever they're gonna go. I don't know the tone, but it looks like it'll be fun, and I'm excited for it. So whether it goes all the way for the Academy Awards, we will see. I think it'll probably have a decent script. I liked John Watts' Spider-Man movies. I wish he had a little more like of his voice in them.
Yeah, you can tell that those movies they kind of strangle out any unique voice that you can have when making them. I mean, between Disney, Marvel, and Sony, constantly like down your throat. I feel like those aren't really John Watts movies, and I haven't seen anything else from his his films besides those three.
Yeah.
Though I have heard good things about. Was he the one? Did he do that movie with like Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Was that John Watts, or am I thinking of a different director?
Maybe a different director, but he did a movie called Cop Car with Kevin Bacon. That was solid. I saw that one. You might be thinking of Ryan Johnson, who did Looper.
No, not that one. It was like it was like either a drama or a comedy. I don't remember, but never mind.
Okay. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him.
That's it. It's just the actors. We don't really know much about.
No, but it's like I have faith in all of them, and it's coming out September 20th. That's a hit or miss slot for the awards contention. I know a lot of the times September. I remember I started this podcast back in September because I thought like, all right, I'm going to start it with Dumb Money because that's going to be a movie that could be nominated for things. And then Dumb Money came out, and it's like, no.
Nobody,
not at all. not even a little bit, actually. And it's like, okay, so this could be that, where it's like, it looks like a good packaged awards contender kind of film, got a decent director at the helm, got some good stars in there, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, that was just kind of fine. It's possible. And I think this is like Apple TV, which they are also kind of hit or miss sometimes. But we'll see. I have... At least it'll be fun, whatever. But we'll see. I'm excited to see John Watts do something new, though. Like, that'll be cool.
Yeah, because I know he's not doing the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, right? Like, I not that I know of, no. I mean, do you know anything about Spider-Man 4 at this point? I don't even know.
Other than the rumor is that Sony is being annoying, and they want to do like another multiverse movie, and then Tom Holland and Kevin Feige are like, please no, like we had plans for a street level thing, please stop. Like we have like Kingpin like being like hyped up as like the street level villain on the TV stuff, and that's going to cross over, so can you not, Sony, with the multiverse stuff? Like we have a whole plan that you're fucking with. But anyways,
we'll see. But yeah, so John Watts is like, you guys go ahead and figure that out. I'll do Wolves.
Yep.
So yeah, my last one is Alto Knights. This is from Barry Levinson. And all I know about this one is that it stars two Robert De Niro's playing warring mobsters. So fuck yeah, I want to see that.
Warring what?
Warring mobsters.
Oh, I thought you said warring lobsters.
No,
I was I will be there just first in line.
Yeah,
Thursday night. Robert De Niro is playing two lobsters fighting each other.
No. Anyway. It is two. So Vito Genovese and Frank Costello, a pair of Italian Americans who run two separate crime families in the mid 20th century. Genovese attempted to assassinate Costello in 1957, although Costello retired from the mob. So it looks like these two are kind of warring crime heads. So I'm like could be like incredible, could be terrible, but I liked De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon a lot, and I think if he brings the same kind of care to this, because I mean largely like a lot of the time, De Niro's kind of sleepwalking through some of these. But if you get him playing two roles, and if he's doing like this kind of, it could be like that movie with Tom Hardy where he plays crime brothers.
Right. Yeah,
that movie was weird and like didn't totally work. But if it's like more of like a Goodfellas kind of thing, I think this will be great. So we'll see. But I'm
Yeah,
excited.
that's a interesting like you're that old and you're gonna have like a role that with that much pressure of being
Yeah,
the two main stars. You know what I mean? So that's interesting.
yeah. And we got
So,
Barry Levinson at the helm, who directed Rain Man, some classic older films. I
mhm.
believe he directed The Wizard of Lies, which is another uh, Robert De Niro thing, which was also like one of his more remembered roles of the last like 10 years that people really connected with, where like, oh, he actually cared in this one. That's good. But it's hit or miss, so it could be another shitty one. But that's my list. Oh, and also I want to mention Jordan Peele's movie might come out this year. Um,
Ooh.
it's not looking great though, because I think the strikes delayed a lot of that. So I don't think he's even
Hmm.
started filming yet. So I didn't put it on the list, but it is possible that it makes. I think the rumor was it was going to come out Christmas Day, the same time as Nosferatu, actually. Um,
Hmm.
so that would have been a cool day. Um, but I don't. It doesn't look great that it's going to release, but it's worth mentioning. So it's possible, but I didn't put it on the list officially. So we'll see. But that's another one to look out for. Obviously, Jordan Peele. Every time he does something, you want to be there. So.
Hmm. Didn't Nope get kind of snubbed?
Us did too. Get Out was like the only big one. But
I think I remember Nope not even getting nominated for like sound design or something. Am I
nothing.
wrong?
I think
Yeah,
Nope. I think Nope kind of didn't get anything. I mean, Us was a little, more of a crowd pleaser.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, Nope should have been a big. Let me look that up for you. Um, nothing really.
That's insane. Okay.
It looks like nothing.
Yeah,
Let me
we'll
see.
see.
Yeah, no Academy Award nominations for Nope. Nothing. Visual effects even no. That movie's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Nope. But yeah, Get Out was like his only big contender.
Mhm.
But every time Jordan Peele's got his name on it, you want to be in there, even if he's not making it. Same thing with Robert Eggers. You
Mhm.
want to be there. Um, that's
Yeah.
that's the
I mean,
show.
all this whole conversation was entirely pointless though, because we all know who's gonna like completely sweep at the Oscars this year.
What do you got, Madam Web?
Madam Web.
Hell
Madam
yeah.
Web is going. I mean, best acting, best screenplay, best fucking special effects,
Is there going to be
best
room though? Because
direction.
we got 3 Sony Pictures Spider-Man movies coming this year. So do you think there's room though? Or are they going to cannibalize each other? We have Craven as well.
What's the third one?
Venom 3.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Madam
don't know
Web.
if they're gonna be able to beat Madam Web. I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
That
it's
was,
already they peaked early.
that
Well, let's see. Momentum. It's still early in the year, so we got Craven in August. We got Venom, and I don't know when Venom's even coming out. October, maybe again. Same thing. God damn it! That's the state of things, huh?
be
This is
sure
the
to
world.
check out our episode on
Oh
Madam
yeah,
Web and 50 Shades of Grey. I will be on there,
yeah. You'll see that on
praising
Thursday.
that amazing thing that we sometimes call a film.
I'm gonna
Ooh.
see it tomorrow. I'm gonna see it tonight, which I mean that's when this episode drops. So by the time you're listening, to time it might be in the theater. So, and I might want to not be in the theater. We'll see.
I
But
might not want to be
yeah,
alive
I
anymore
might not.
after.
Yeah, that's true. I've heard great things. Yeah, but yeah, that's been the 2025 early predictions here. Um, at the very least, I hope we put you onto some films.
Mhm.
We could look back on this next year and be like, wow, some of these
Just
are horrible.
nothing hit. Yeah,
No,
nothing at all. Fucking
nothing. Can
yeah.
you imagine that if none of these movies get anything? It's like, wow, what a great year. If like, what else is there? You know what I mean? At the very least, Dune 2. At the very least.
Yeah.
That's like a slam dunk. But yeah, guys, Will, where can the good people find you and all that jazz?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at William_Kish_. That's
Yep.
just my personal Instagram account. Now I'm also officially part of Galaxy of Film, so you can find us on the Galaxy Film YouTube, galaxyfilm.com, stuff
Yep.
like that. So
All of it.
yeah.
Hell yeah! Check out The
Mhm.
Artist 1996. That is now out at the time of this podcast dropping. Check out the other short films that we've got. Check out the Mayhem short films as well. Check out all of the exciting stuff that's coming up. That is awards bait. That's the end of the show. To be honest, we are no longer going to be dropping the next episode that you see from us will be the live stream covering the big night. We're still locking down guests, so I will not make any official announcements here. But you can join us live Oscar Sunday on the Galaxy of Film YouTube channel. Subscribe if you are not yet to make sure that you're staying tuned for all of the latest things. Check out the video essays that have recently dropped. Check out all that and more. We're trying to get to 500 subs, so please subscribe. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.